Crazy Roanoke theories, aliens, werewolves, vampires and more. The Roanoke colony mysteriously vanished during the late 16th century. No one knows what really happened. This has resulted in crazy theories including alien abduction, time travel, werewolves, vampires, and fairies. None of these are true. Sit back and enjoy these interesting and completely nutty takes on the Roanoke mystery. The English exploration of the New World began in earnest in 1584 when Sir Walter Raleigh sent an expedition to explore the coast of North America. The expedition returned with tales of an idyllic land full of resources, prompting Raleigh to send a second expedition in 1585 to establish a permanent settlement. The expedition was led by Ralph Lane and Arthur Barlow, who founded the Roanoke Colony on Roanoke Island in present-day North Carolina. At first, relations between the colonists and the local Native American tribes were cordial. The Native Americans provided food, supplies, and knowledge of their land to the colonists. Unfortunately, as more colonists arrived, tensions between them and the Native Americans began to rise. By 1586, Lane and Barlow had departed, leaving behind a new governor, John White. White made 2 additional trips to England to gather supplies for the colonists before returning to find them gone in 1590. He found no trace of them and no explanation for what had happened. The only clue was a carving on a post that read Croatoan, leading White to believe that the colonists had gone to Croatoan Island. Since 1590, numerous theories have been proposed to explain what happened to the Roanoke colony. The most popular normal theories relate to the colony being absorbed by a Native American tribe, were killed by a local native tribe, that the colony moved to settle elsewhere and got lost, or that the colonists all starved to death. We will examine none of these sensible and reasonable explanations and focus on the crazy theories instead. 1. Alien abduction. One of the craziest and most outlandish ideas contends that the colonists were kidnapped by extraterrestrials. This theory is based around the idea that extraterrestrial beings with advanced technology abducted the colonists and transported them to another planet. It suggests that their high-tech capabilities allowed them to do this without leaving any evidence of their presence, making it difficult for anyone on Earth to find out what happened. Furthermore, it speculates that the colonists could still be alive on this other planet and were used as test subjects in experiments by these aliens. This would explain why no trace of them was left behind here on Earth. Since there is no concrete proof for this hypothesis, many people believe it should be discounted entirely. While the notion of extraterrestrial abduction might sound implausible, some people think there is proof for it. For instance, some scholars assert that they have discovered ancient rock carvings that appear to show extraterrestrial creatures. The Roanoke colonists may have been the victims of older civilizations' advanced technology, they contend, and these engravings demonstrate that. 2. Vampires. Another theory has been proposed that blames vampires. When the colonists arrived, they learned a horrible secret. The area had already been inhabited for generations by a group of ancient vampires who had subsisted by preying on the local Native American tribes. The colonists attempted to live in harmony after unintentionally discovering the vampires' secret colony when they first arrived. Yet as the colonists established themselves, tensions between the two sides increased and a bloody battle ensued. The colonists were unexpectedly attacked by the vampires, who were determined to keep their power in secrecy, killing many of them while forcing the survivors to flee into the nearby forest. The colonists who remained made the decision to leave their community out of fear of more vampire attacks. The conflict between the Roanoke colonists and the vampire community over the ages gave rise to numerous legends, with tales of creatures that prowled the darkness and drank human blood being passed down through the centuries. 3. Werewolves. An alternative explanation holds that the people who settled at the Roanoke colony were not regular people, but rather a group of werewolves who had traveled across the ocean in quest of a new home. The colonists were descended from a werewolf tribe that had spent years coexisting peacefully with humans in the woodlands of Europe. They had mastered the art of controlling their transformations. The werewolves avoided interacting with the local Native American tribes in the outside world once they arrived in Roanoke by constructing their dwellings deep within the forest and living in secrecy. Yet as time went on, the werewolves started to lose control and let their wolfish instincts take over. The nearby Native American community was preyed upon by the werewolves, who attacked their communities and killed their inhabitants. Although the colonists made an effort to restrain their desires, they eventually failed, which resulted in a deadly war between the colonists and the Native Americans. The colony of werewolves was eventually found by a troop of Native American warriors, who then launched a violent assault. Although they battled back, the werewolves were finally outnumbered and forced to retreat into the nearby woodlands. The descendants of the Roanoke werewolves are thought to still exist in the region today, hiding out in the woods and only coming out at full moon to prey. There have been sightings of enormous, wolf-like animals lurking in the darkness and reports of odd howling sounds coming from the woods. 4. Time travel. The colonists were transported through time is one of the strangest and less common hypotheses. This idea contends that the colonists of Roanoke did not perish from sickness, starvation, or being abducted by Native Americans. Instead, they vanished without a trace, traveling across time to a different age or reality. According to the hypothesis, the colonists discovered a time vortex that took them through time, possibly to the future or another dimension, when they stumbled upon it. Others contend that the colonists may have found a new home and established a new community in a time or dimension that was more conducive to their survival. Other proponents of this hypothesis speculate that the colonists may have arrived in an era or dimension that was inhospitable to their survival. Some people cite alleged proof for this notion, including as accounts of unusual items discovered nearby Roanoke that do not line up with historical records from the period. Some contend that John White, the ruler of the Roanoke Colony, left hints about the colonists' future time travel in his writings. The majority of scientists and historians, however, hold the time travel hypothesis in very low regard. The concept that the colonists were transferred across time or to another dimension is unsupported by any reliable evidence. The literature and artifacts that supporters of this hypothesis reference are easily explained by other, more mainstream methods. 5. Fairies. Another legend holds that the Roanoke colonists were captured by the fairies and fae rather than just dissipating. Celtic folklore's fairies and fae are thought to live in a parallel universe to our own and have the ability to influence and even change reality. According to the idea, the colonists of Roanoke unintentionally crossed into the territory of fairies and fae, incurring their anger. It's possible that the colonists tampered with traditional practices or the fairy realm's natural equilibrium. The Roanoke colony might have vanished as a result of the fairies and fae using their power. They might have taken the colonists to their own realm and kept them there, where they are still residing now on a planet that is similar to our own. The folklore surrounding fairies and the fae is rich and complicated, with many tales of their power and influence, even though there is no evidence to support this belief. Some hypothesize that the settlers of Roanoke may have been seduced by the fairies and fae and accompanied them voluntarily into their realm. The Roanoke colonists may have assumed a new identity or purpose in the fairy realm, according to certain enthusiasts who still hold this belief today. The idea of a secret world parallel to our own is a prominent subject in many works of literature and popular culture, despite the fact that this hypothesis could appear far-fetched. It also lends an intriguing depth to the mystery surrounding the Roanoke colony. The disappearance of the Roanoke colony remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of colonial history. Despite numerous theories, no one has been able to definitively explain what happened to the colonists and why they abandoned their settlement. However, it is almost certain that the crazy theories in this video are not anywhere close to reality. The significance of this mystery cannot be understated. It is a reminder that our understanding of history is far from complete and that there are still many secrets waiting to be discovered about our past. Finally, it serves as a reminder that even today, hundreds of years later, we still do not know what happened to these brave settlers who vanished without a trace. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Connect Paranormal. Thanks for watching.